Hello and welcome in. I am MissKinghorn and we are back here in The Sims 4, and today we are doing a small retirement home for an elderly sim. So it's been a while since I've done a small kind of little home like this, and I came up with this idea. I thought it was quite cute. I've not really built a house for an old person in a while again, so I thought why not into here. So we are actually in Oasis Springs in here as well, and we are working on a 15 by 20 lot. This isn't the biggest lot. This isn't the biggest house, which I think actually fits this really well. I was kind of inspired here by like the sort of Florida kind of retirement homes in here, in the kind of the deserty kind of hot arid areas in there as well. So that's kind of what I had. I had a reference image in my head, kind of like just sort of made up of what I really want this to look like into here. So we've kind of gone for this gorgeous terracotta kind of paintwork on the outside, low sloping roofs, lots of windows, which I'm not entirely sure if that's really accurate. I feel like they would need a lot of sunlight to come in, but maybe too much sunlight, if you know what I mean. But anyway, you'll sort of see all of those as we go through. We also have a nice little entrance sort of step up here, and then a patio on the back. Now the back garden is not the biggest. You'll sort of see that as we go through here, but I kind of make the most of it in a way that I think would be the most efficient. And here are the windows. We actually use these gorgeous ones from Get Famous. I don't necessarily know when the last time was I used these windows. I feel like I've never really kind of used them, but I think they work in here really nicely and kind of fit in the vibe that I'm going for in here. Now I did want to go through some different flooring for this front area. In the end I went for this gorgeous white in there. It fitted the colour scheme, and I thought why not in here. And now as you can see, we do have a driveway on the left hand side, and then the door to the right, and then like the mailbox and stuff I have deliberately put in kind of a American way out the front here. So it didn't look quite good with the fence. I do keep the little fence in the middle, but I get rid of it off of the sides. You'll sort of see in here, and then we just sort of soften it off. I didn't want to do too many like deserty kind of plants or like really dried planting, so I've just gone for this sort of low level kind of hedge along the front here, and then these kind of big bulbs. I think they're supposed to be bulbs, big planting in there just to kind of break that up a little bit more as well. And I thought why not in there. And now I was going to do a sort of a carport kind of area in here where a little bit of sort of shading comes through, and then also a nice little area in there. I was thinking of covering it with plants, but honestly I don't think they would really look quite that good, so in the end I just left it as the fence pieces up there, and then placed the car in here. And then I've also got some wood for the fire that you'll sort of see me place inside as well, where the chimney is. But a few more outside little details. Got in some kind of drain pipes and things like that I thought was kind of important in all of this. And then also working on this sort of back patio area. I finally get the door in because I forgot that in here as well. And then I thought this area here, I was going to originally put a window there, you might have seen, but then changed my mind because I thought that was a little bit too much windows. So I kind of changed that out and just placed those kind of creepers going up there on the trellis. And then a little AC unit that actually goes into her bedroom. So I thought that was like the most useful in there. And then just like a sort of normal fans over the sort of top. I think I've got one in the bathroom at the back, and then one out here, which actually is the kitchen at the front of the house into there. But now working on this small patio, so I kind of wanted an outdoor sort of seating area. I feel like this is maybe somebody who comes out here maybe of the evening when it's a little bit cooler, has like maybe her dinner outside, that kind of thing. That's sort of what I was thinking in here. And then I've kind of just tucked the rest into there. and yeah, nice little sun lounger. I thought maybe early morning tea, coffee in there, and a little barbecue area. And then I had a look at this space and I wasn't really sure what to do with it, and I kind of thought, you know what, let's go for some fake grass out here. I just felt like that was low maintenance, easy to handle, those sorts of things. So again, using the same kind of planting that we've got at the front here, and then some more of those little bulbs and things like that. I just thought it would give like a nice green grassy area without actually having to do anything for it, and I felt like the rest of it is all sort of really low maintenance, nice, easy for the kind of elderly sim that I had living in here, at least in my mind. And here, so now we're going to jump onto the inside. So I have done all of the flooring, wallpaper and things like that, and yeah, we've kind of gone for this really nice calming sort of light green kind of colour in here. I was going to go quite dark with the kind of furnishings in here, and in the end I kind of actually went a little bit more modern in here. I changed it up to go for the lighter kind of wood sort of feeling, and then just a few more sort of modern pieces around the place as well, but then keeping the old kind of charm. I felt like she still has a home phone, nice big plants. I do use quite a few plants in this build, I've got to be honest, in here, and then just a small kind of little, when you walk in you throw your post down on the side, like you kind of have your phone, maybe a little notepad for taking notes of missed calls and things like that in there. And yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking with this entranceway into here. Now this is the kitchen, so this is kind of an all-in-one room technically, but it's kind of broken off by the fact that we've got this sort of high sort of spandrel coming across the top here. I wanted it to feel like this is not an old house, but it's kind of somebody who lives here is older in there. So I've kind of done it in mind where everything is kind of accessible. At least that's what I kind of had in my head when I was building this. So nice big open doorways, things like that coming through, and yeah, gorgeous kitchen in here. Now this, I'm going to show you how now. I had a nightmare trying to do these sort of splashbacks. I really wanted to keep the green, but also wanted these tiles. So yes, I am literally hand moving each of these to make a little bit more sense in here. Yeah, anyway, why do I do it to myself? Why? Every single time. But anyway, we now have the splashbacks in place. You'll be so glad this is a build and not alive. Anyway, we have some open shelving on the right hand side, and then I've kind of, when we were pulling items out, I decided to pull out the I think it's like frying pans, other culinary bits and pieces, and then just some more shelving in here as well, cabinets and stuff, just for little knickknacks and bits and pieces. And then yes, I do remember the bin finally in here, and then I am going to pretty much jump ahead right here to show you that I have pulled out pretty much all of my favourite items in here. And for once I did not have the bug where items disappeared off of, or the sink didn't disappear when I moved some cabinets. That was infuriating. Anyone who has kind of known me knows how infuriating that whole thing was into there. And yeah, I did have to cheat a little bit with this sort of system in here to get me where I really wanted, because half of that top one is actually going to be covered up. So yeah, and I did a little bit cheating, but hey, this is me into there. And as per usual, I do leave a couple of these worktops completely empty. Your sims will still use them because technically there's no items on any of these sort of cabinets in here, so you may have a little bit of clipping, but there are definitely two worktops that are empty. The one above the actual sort of cooker, and then this sort of corner one on the side here as well. But you've got all of the basics and lots of little bits and pieces. And yeah, I did realise that was kind of floating, which didn't make too much sense. And then just changing some colours just to kind of fit the vibe that I was kind of going for with this build in here. Now, I didn't really have a career in mind for this sim. We do actually end up getting in a computer desk. You'll sort of see that later on, but yeah, I kind of didn't want to kind of pigeonhole them into any particular career. I felt like maybe they've like retired and then they've like moved down to Oasis Springs from wherever they sort of originally had. Maybe they've got family and just want a smaller little home to look after, that sort of thing in here. But now over on this side is the living room. So this has got two big sort of windows. They are quite high, but I feel like they would still let in a lot of light, and then also the patio doors in here as well. And I do get in the sort of record player over here. I was thinking of just having like a smaller one, but honestly it didn't really work. It just didn't fit for me, so I ended up going for this gorgeous one there that again I don't think I ever really used. But there is a fireplace for the wood that we've got outside, where it's just aging, so that it's safe to go. And then I didn't clutter too much on the coffee table. I think I just put the fruit bowl, a little book, and then like a mug. So it's where she just sat down, she's reading her book, and then she's having a cup of tea or coffee or whatever she fancies into there as well. And then this is like a picture wall of all of her family. I thought it was a nice little touch on that back wall, and I've kind of made it a little bit bigger with some of the other pieces as well. And then I was trying to find something else to go over here, and I really couldn't go for anything, so in the end I went for this kind of nondescript painting in there of the plant. And then my cushions, these sofas were looking a little bit plain, a little bit boring in there, and yeah, I kind of like the colour of them, but I don't necessarily, yeah, they just looked a little bit boring for me. So in there we've kind of gone for some green cushions, which I think fit the feel of this house a little bit more. And in the end I do change up the sort of the rug in here again to sort of that green kind of colour. Now I had this ridiculously large space left in here, and I was like, I don't know what to do with it. You will sort of see me here. I placed one table, and I'm like, there's so much space. Where do I put it? Do I put it against the chair? Do I put it in the kitchen? Against the wall? I then decided to do none of those and shove it literally in the middle of the space to take up as much room as I possibly can into there. And yeah, we then also pull out basically the same table over here for her computer desk. So I've gone for a laptop. I felt like that was maybe a little bit less intimidating for an elderly sim than a sort of big computer in there. Maybe she's writing her memoirs or something kind of along those lines, genealogy, something like that. I don't really know, but I just felt like this place really needed that little extra sort of touch in here, and we had so much space. So I was like, why not? Why not indeed? And you'll sort of see I've pulled out some more clutter, so we've got lots of books. Now I haven't got an actual like full-on bookshelf in this build, and I don't actually think your sim will be able to reach those books, but yeah, you have that option in there if you want, and there is also other space if you want to get rid of a plant or something in there as well. And now just another little plant on the sort of table in there. I was going to move the fruit bowl over because I feel like that's a more realistic place to put the fruit, but I decided just to go for a nice simple little vase of flowers in there, kind of in keeping with the whole sort of green thumb kind of feel of the houseplants on the inside. Now this is the bedroom. You can see I've placed the aircon up there by the windows. I was trying to place it underneath, it just didn't really feel right with these windows in here. So I have pushed the bed to one side slightly, so there is plenty of room for sort of access and things like that. And then I have also placed the dresser over on this side as well. And when I was building this, I just had it for one sim in my head, so I kind of felt like she would only use one side of this bed, but you can access both of them. And then I have also placed a nice little armchair in here as well, with a nice little reading kind of nook, just like at the end of the day maybe she just wants a little bit of quiet and a closed in sort of space. And you lucky people are also getting a bathroom for me in here. So this is a nice big sort of bathroom. We actually get in a double sink in here as well. But this build is now available on my gallery, so you can download it straight from there. It is called the Terrace Bungalow, so check that one out. But it's also up on pretty much all of my socials as well. And you can subscribe to me here on YouTube. It would mean so very, very much to me. Or as I said, on any of those social medias in there. And yeah, I had a fun time building this. As I say, I kind of had some reference images that I was kind of going through in my head of like what I wanted it to look like, and I think I've done a pretty good job in there. I will let you be the judge in the comments as well. But yeah, just now finishing off with the little final touches. I actually double curtain this, so I kind of go for these kind of soft net curtain sort of things that are just like blowing the breeze, really nice, really gentle, little bits and pieces, and then some bigger sort of actual like blackout curtains over the top, which I did have to kind of manipulate and put them in individually, but I feel like that was fine to do in there. And yeah, just moving a few other bits and pieces, and then radiators. I don't necessarily think they would be needed, but I feel like maybe their winters are a little bit cold, and I felt like it just needed a nice little touch. I didn't want to change too much of this build. And then also light switches, very important in here as well. But this is now at the end of the video. I will leave you with screenshots, but until next time, stay happy and building, everyone. Bye.